We love hip
Yes,
hop.
sir. Yes, and yes. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Yo, the audio sounding crisp. Holy.
They better. It cost me $50.
What's that on the wall you got behind you over there, family?
Oh, it says recognized for opening the portal to hip hop in Guelph, Ontario. So the city of Guelph gave me this, and I just got it like just a couple of weeks ago. And the best part about it is all of my awards are at my mom's house, and she won't let me take them because she thinks I'm going to lose them. And I'm like, how am I going to lose them? They're just going to be hanging on my wall and stuff like that. So this is out of everything that I've gotten over the years, everything's at my mom's house. This is the only one thing I have at my house.
Listen,
So
man,
it's special.
Mama knows best, bro.
Oh yeah, well I go to her house, and then she'll have she's pulling out Mic Check magazines with me on the cover. And my old Chaclair ice cold T-shirts. So I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
Holy, she's got the archives over there, eh?
Everything, even the old records, even the old. When I was putting out some of Cardi's records, Hustlin' and Father Times and Eternal Affairs, No Fiber, California from Socks. She has all these records there, and I'm like, she's like, I don't think you'll know how to store them safely. So I'll just keep them. When you need them, I'll get them to you.
Listen, I got one more question on that before we get into our interview, right? Does she have any unreleased gems that the hip hop audience might need to hear one day?
She would not have anything unreleased. Just because she just has like probably like the physical vinyl, maybe the CD. She'll have rare releases though.
Yeah.
Like she'll have.
You got to understand with releases, with the evolution of streaming and stuff like that, there's certain things that could have came out, but it didn't get into the streaming era. And it's like, oh my God, you have that?
Oh, well, in that case, yes. Because when we start talking more about it, it's like everything coming in this year, like it's just different. Yeah.
Well, let's get into it, man. We're audio podcast, so I always got a little bit of audio for my audio audience. You know what I'm saying? Run some tunes for us.
The man wanted to ride. What did he do? Swing down, sweet. I'm all black like the Raiders. You wonder how I did it?
Yeah.
Into it, man.
It's crazy. 25 years later, eh? Still.
Real. Still at it, man. But let's get into it. It's your boy Friday Ricky Dread here with another interview for your head top. Before I get into this interview, I want to give a quick salute to some of my sponsors. Big salute to Diamond Club. Hit them up on their Instagram page, _Canada, if you want delivery of any of the loudest loud across the GTA and across Canada. Okay, use the code We Love Hip Hop when you're on the way out and get yourself a nice little discount. Again, that's Diamond Club _Canada. And yeah, man. Salute to the sponsors. Also, big salute to Steam and Hot Grabber. Steam and Hot Grabber has some of the hottest grabber in the city. Actually, the hottest grabber in the city. Okay. If you want delivery across the GTA, hit them up on their Instagram page, Steam and Hot Grabber, and use the code We Love Hip Hop. A couple more. For all my people in Ottawa, if you want same-day delivery in Ottawa as well as same-day delivery over here in the GTA, you got to hit up Only Loud. Only Loud has a whole bunch of different legacy blends of some of the loudest loud, as well as their own personal blend of some fire. Okay, hit them up on their Instagram page, Only Loud _Canada, and use the code. You could also find them on Snapchat, onlyloud.ca. One last one. Big salute to the gas station. The gas station is located over at 260 Gary Avenue. That's in the west end of Toronto. Okay, for all my people who are in Parkdale, salute to my people in Parkdale. That's just around the corner, okay? They got all the different types of smoke products and the best smoke products in the GTA, best gases, and you can go get yourself some grabber and some backwoods over there too, okay? Hit them up on their Instagram page, The Gas Station 416, or go check out their shop over there at 260 Gary Avenue. All right, salute to the sponsors. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Every few years, I think I need to tap in with this gentleman here. And for the people who haven't been following the channel for from the beginning, we had this gentleman on the podcast probably episode 20 or something, like before we got into the hundreds. Okay, and then we brought him back. I don't even remember, episode 300 and something, and got some good knowledge. You were dropping some gems, and I said, you know what? It's 2025. I got to bring this gentleman back in here again. Like I said before, hip hop historian. When people talk about the Toronto hip hop scene and they talk about pioneers in this, the names always come to mind. They're always like Cardinal, Socrates, and then this gentleman right here. We got Choclair in the motherfucking building.
Seeing you when spaghetti strap, knapsack held up by your back. When I seen it,
love hip hop. What's up? What's up? What's up, Freddie? How you guys doing out there?
I'm good, man. I'm so happy to have this start to have this conversation with you here, bro. Before we even get into anything, you just dropped a new single with Juice Rochester.
Blood rush, like cutting wide open, a blood rush. Don't front, I got you open.
You know, fill us in on everything that's going on with that single. I think you said it's going to be playing in the stadium just now or in the arena.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Rochester have this song. It's called March 27th, which is actually my birthday. But when I got the beat from G-Vine, and then when I got the beat was called March 27th. So like, and the exact same way, capital March and in Roman numerals XXV11. So I just was like, kind of makes sense. And then I was like, this one hits hard. And me and Rochester have been on same shows for like, you know, just over the past few years. Like just after the pandemic, we would be on same shows and stuff like that and talk about this, that, and, you know, we cool and everything. So I just had it. And I had one verse right before Rochester jumped in. So I had one verse on it. And then I was like, right before I released this one, I released a song called Prize Rush,
right,
which was one verse as well. So that could be a thing, you know, because I remember talking to Solitaire Solid, just like, he's like, yeah, man, the track is good. That's a really good track, really produced by G-Vine as well. And he's like, yeah, that's a really good track.
Right.
And he's like, but it's just short though. And I said, so what did you do? He's like, well, I rewinded a few times. And I said, thank you for the streams. So I was thinking about that when I was like, I could just make this another gonna beat pounds. It's good. Mm-hmm. But then I feel like I'm going to cheat him a little bit. And then I just got on the phone with Rochester and I was like, yo, I got this track, you know, see what you want to do on it. He came back, he dropped this verse on it. Then at first he goes, oh man, you took one of the best parts of the beat with that breakdown that, you know, like blood rush. You wrote wide open, it's a blood rush and everything. He's like, man, that's a really good breakdown. So then he had his verse, but he ended it early. And then we were sitting there and then, my fire alarm's going on. I don't know if you hear it. But then so then he added that 4-part where he was like, pull up, get up, and everything. And then the song came together and we just really liked it, the way it pounded. I reached out to Solo about doing the video. And before that, I was doing things with Sportsnet already because their theme song is Made to Move Mountains this year.
The shoulders brushed off, the jeans clean. I rocked her to sleep with no ginseng.
And we shot the video. Sportsnet came up to us actually just yesterday and or the day before and said we want to use it for the Raptors game. I don't know if they're always going to be using it, but it is Sportsnet. So they'll be picking and using it throughout the season along with the Made to Move Mountains being the theme song for them.
So do you get a check for that? Or like how did that work?
It's kind of crazy how it came together because I was invited to a wedding and one of the guy who was having a wedding, he's like, you know, those big trucks when you go to the Dome, when you go to like the Raptor game or a Leaf game and you see the big trucks that are broadcasting the stuff to the TV.
Yeah.
He worked for them. And so I was invited by him to go to his wedding. And then I met a person named Marty, and he saw me perform Made to Move Mountains at his wedding. And then he said, yo, this would be great for the Raptors. For Sportsnet anyways, because it's Sportsnet, because the Raptors are also played on TSN, so you can't really call it the Raptors theme. It has to be Sportsnet, like just their league. Yeah, Sportsnet for the Raptors is kind of like how I'm told how to mention it.
Yeah.
So then it just came together, and yeah, they cut you something, like, you know, they cut you. I won't get into the dollars, but they cut you enough.
No. Yeah.
You know, but then the thing is that this is playing every day on TV. So you get into your SoCan there, but that's always a year later. But this is playing in TV every game that they played for this whole season and other places.
See, you just dropped some jewels right there for the people who are the artists who watch us, because you mentioned SoCan as just another income stream that can come off of that. Right. Also, one thing that you just even getting this together, you showed the value of networking. Can we talk about that for a minute? Because you're getting into rooms where somebody like that can present an opportunity to you. Right.
Right.
So can you elaborate a little bit more for the youngins out there about networking and just, you know, being around?
All right. So it's like, say if you're like a mom and pop store selling whatever, and people come to your store and you just treat them like crap, they're not going to come back. Like, no matter how much you push, because they're just going to have history. Like that one bad food place you went to, and you're just going to be like, I'm never going there again.
Yeah.
So through my career, I always made it to, when I do shows and when I meet people and stuff like that, I always try to be like, you know, like, it's almost probably the favorite quote of everybody from Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
You know, and so I approach in that way. So I generally reach out, talk, network, exactly what you're saying, and keep in touch and stuff, because you never know. Some of these people I met like 10 years ago, and now they're just coming now. And especially when you meet some of these people from years ago, you don't know, they're either still in college, they might even be in late high school, but now 20 years pass, and they're the marketing director for Onlia Insurance, and they really love Let's Ride.
Yeah.
And they remember, I remember meeting you. You may not remember meeting me, but I remember meeting you, and way back in the day. And I remember you were leaving the club. This is the story. You were leaving the club, and I was like, man, yo, Shocks, can I get a shot with you? You know, like take a shot with you and stuff like that. And everybody was leaving, and I was like, oh, really? And he goes, man, I don't know ever if I'll ever get this close to you again. Like, to be able to say what's up, shake your hand, be like, I appreciate your music. You're doing a lot for Canadian hip hop, because this is like early out 2000, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot for Canadian hip hop and stuff like that. So, you know, and then I thought, yeah, because I had a bad experience I still respect him, but I had a bad experience with Allen Iverson one time. And I remembered that, and I was like, yeah, so, you know, and then he comes back and he's like, I got this thing. I work over at Onlia Insurance and Let's Ride, stuff like that, like all these things. So it's always good to make a good impression, and it's always good to make sure your people that are around you make you look good, because they're just going to associate you. Like if you bring Peter and Peter starts acting up, they're going to be like, yeah, Shocks brought Peter. Yeah. And we're like, we don't want him around because he's going to bring, you know, like negativity or something like that, you know? So you have to really structure yourself like that. And that's how these things come up, because they remember meeting you. And then you also have the good product, but they remember meeting you. I really like the song, all the nostalgia, because everybody our age, you know, like we still love in our 90s and late 80s, even early 80s music of everything. Yeah. Rock, hip hop, pop, you name it. Techno, New Jack Swing, you know, all that stuff. Pet Shop Boys, you know, we still know that stuff.
Yeah, that's a place in our heart.
Yeah, and we are at an age like when you're 20, you're kind of broke because you're in college or you're still at home or whatever. We work, so you know, some people have more than others, but we actually, if we wanted to go out, we don't measure like, oh man, I only got so much. Should I get this hamburger? So, but we could be like, we could get a hamburger. But what we also could be like is we can go to the show, you know, and watch him. He's coming. I remember seeing him from years back, and we can go. And then when you go to a show, you know, depending on the price of the door, you still have maybe $50 to $100 that you know you're spending. Merch, the bar, whatever, smokes, whatever you're doing, you know. But then they remember you, and that's the network, and that's why these things keep coming up, and they just keep coming up, and I'm grateful for it. I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm surprised. Like 25 years I've been doing this.
And there's still new opportunities to come from it. You know what I'm saying? There's one thing that you mentioned, and I want you to give me the full story on that. What was the awkward interaction with Allen Iverson? Big salute to the sponsors, Diamond Club, with delivery all over the GTA and now all across Canada. They got the best selection of flour, edibles, and pens, and all types of goodies that you need. You can find them on their Instagram page, DiamondClub_Canada, or you can find them on the 7 Days of Weed app, as well as the Leafy Things app. Let them know that you heard about them through the We Love Hip Hop Network, and they may give you a discount. Big salute to Diamond Club. Cheer!
Oh, okay. So one of the things was Allen Iverson had his AI shoes back in the day. You know, probably there's still ones running and stuff like that. So Reebok flew me down to New York for the new AI shoes. Right. But because I was Reebok Canada flew me because they wanted to support the Shot Classic Mustangs. So we were there. So, and I remember Allen Iverson, it was R. Kelly and Fat Joe. They were doing that song. It was in that time. That song, We Thuggin'. We Thuggin'. Yeah, and they were at the Reebok launch party. And I remember, you know, there's kind of a funny story that goes to. Okay, on a side note, just remind me back. I tell my friends this story all the time because it's hilariously Scarborough. But so remind me to go back to the We Thuggin' part. Okay. So when I get to New York, you go through your bag. I think I went with socks too as well. I went with a few. I didn't just go by myself. Maybe even Cardi as well. He might even remember this. So I remember I'm going through my bag, and this is back when, you know, all of us were wearing like, you know, pants that were too big. Like I'm a 34 and I was wearing a 47 or something like that. Shirts were 5X and everything. So you needed a belt. Of course, what did I do? Forget a belt. And then I'm going to this major party. All the Reebok reps from the States and Canada are all going to be there. Fat Joe, R. Kelly, all going to be there. We're all like young and horny, just thinking of all the cuties and the baddies that are going to be there in their dresses. You know what I mean? Like we were just like young and yeah, like that's what we were thinking. Yeah. And I forget a belt. So now I'm like, how do I fix this? So I go over to the side. I see a clock radio, the big one, tie it up as my belt, put the big part in my pocket, told everybody it was a pager. And then I went to the club like that. So that's the side story of how because I was like, how am I going to get in? Like I can't be walking and holding my waist the whole night, right? The pants are too big.
So you got the string belt, right?
Yeah, I used the power cord from the clock radio, the old ones. And so it was thick, and then I just made a belt off the power cord, and everybody that would be like, "What's that in your pocket?" And even when I had to go through security, I was like, "This is just my pager," and I just kind of lifted it out. They saw it. I don't know why they just let me pass, and that was me in the club that whole night. So me there, self-conscious about the fact I have a clock radio for a belt. If this Allen Iverson new AI relief party with Fat Joe and R. Kelly and everybody else that's going to be there.
Right.
So
we thuggin'.
Yeah. So we thuggin' time because I remember them performing that, and I was literally kind of blown back because I've never seen R. Kelly live, and I've never really been that close to Fat Joe as far as I can person. So I'm watching these guys just doing it, and I'm like in it, you know, forgetting about my clock radio belt at this moment. And then one of the guys from Virgin Records, because they came too. So one of the guys from, yeah,
I'm just giving you the setting. Keep going.
So then the guy from Virgin Records and Reebok, they come up, and now they're going to give the big introduction to Allen Iverson. And I don't know if it's because, like, you know, like everybody was thugging back then and I was just normal, like how I am right now. So he sees him, and then I'm wearing the shoes and everything, and they're like, "Hey, yo, this is Choclair. This is the Reebok guy from Canada, and you know, and whatever. And he's on Virgin, his record. I think this is even before my record came out in the States, because I remember it came out in this is like 2000, because my record came out in '99 here, and then 2000 on Priority.
Right.
So this is even before that. So I'm just the introduction, and he kind of just, you know, that. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, just like he didn't say anything particularly to me. It was just that, you know, someone walks up to you and be like, yo, that's, or you're getting an introduction. You'd be like, hey, man, what's up? Like, you know, you small banter, and then, all right, man, see you throughout the night. Yeah. So it was just a little weird thing like that, because he kind of looked me up and down, but quick, like not like that. That's why I'm saying it's small stuff. It's not like I don't have a beef with him.
A quick size up.
Just a quick size up. And I don't know, maybe he didn't like the way I look. But they were introducing him as like, this is the guy from Canada. He's got a Reebok deal in Canada. He pushes Reebok, so he's pushing your shoes plus his own shoes. He's got a gold, because at this point my record was gold so quick. He's got a gold record. He's coming out on Priority. This, that, and then it was just this weird kind of, like, you know. And I was like, man, like I really like this guy though, and I still like him. Heroes. Yeah, I still like him. It's just that's just one of those kind of weird type of. I've had some weird scenarios with basketball players for some reason. I don't know.
It's because like you're tall, weird. Bro. It's because you're tall. And they're like, wait a minute. Who's this guy? Is he your opposite?
And I don't. No, and I don't got a shot though. I could get a rebound, but I do not got a shot.
Okay, so we got that on record. Choclair doesn't have a jump shot.
No, and just because I feel free talking with you, it's like I don't know if I told this on the previous ones. So there was the one that I was in LA for the Soul Train Awards. So we have this deal with, remember those Dada shoes?
Yes.
With the crown on the, you know.
Rude boy shoes.
Yeah. So it's me, Cardi, and Solitaire. So we randomly, because we're just this is definitely 2000, like I don't know, whenever the Soul Train Awards was around that time. So we walk into the Dada store because they're going to hook us up with some gear. And then we see like going down Crenshaw, the big ice cold, like mirror, like they had it up there, like they were pushing. Priority was doing work.
Sick.
So Dada asks us to come through and, you know, pick what we want type stuff. So we come through, and then we bump into Master T for just randomly. And I didn't see Master T since like in a while. And that wasn't the place I thought I would just randomly bump into Master T. But again, it's the Soul Train Awards. He was doing his thing at that time.
Yes.
So we end up doing an interview. It's actually, you can find it on YouTube somewhere. It's somewhere, but I did see it recently. We did end up doing an interview in the store. And then I get invited to be a part of the Celebrity All-Star game at the Soul Train place where the Great Western, whatever it was called, where the Lakers used to play before the Palace.
Yeah.
Or Staples or whatever it's called now.
Staples Center. I think it's the Crypto Center now.
Yeah. But it was the one before they moved there. Okay. And so we were playing ball. So I'm going in. My coach is Luke, and I'm a huge Luke fan. Here, lizard. Like I love all that stuff. Like what that leaves that wet sweat mark in your back when you leave the club and you sit in the car and you get cold. Like I like that Miami-based stuff.
Yeah.
So he's my coach, and I think Exhibit is the other team's coach. And then I'm just playing with other players like this. So Cardi and Solitaire are sitting in the stands. Sorry, and I had to take my glasses off because I don't want the ball to hit my face, and I just don't want them broken and stuff like that. You
don't have goggles because you're not a basketball player.
Yeah. So I'm taking off my glass. I'm in there, and then Luke goes and you're in, Shocks. I was like, oh man, really? But it was fun still. But I know I'm not a baller. Like, I'm not dribbling past nobody, right? Like, I'm not doing no tricks unless it's a luck move happen, bounce off my knee, off the scoreboard, and I get it in. So I'm there. So I'm just trying to keep myself around. Like, so we're on offense. I'm trying to keep myself around like a player so I don't get the pass because I can't see. For some reason, the one guy leaves off. And the pass comes. So here's like within 3 seconds, if not shorter than that, all the three things going in my head. Look at the ball, catch the ball, but don't let it slip through your hands because it was a high pass to knock your face. And then it was someone cover me so I can pass it. Because I'm behind the 3-point line.
Yeah. Oh.
So
shit.
all those things happen within like a second. And even on the 1.5 second, I don't know why I could hear Cardi in the stands. Latte. I don't know how and how I heard it. Just, and it's his voice, it's clear as day. And I'm standing
Cardi
like right
got a
on
big
that
voice, man.
Yeah, and he knows I'm not a baller. So he's like looking and assessing the situation and be like, what are you going to do? And I'm at the elbow too. So I'm not on the line. I'm not dead head. I'm on the angle. Latte! Man, I threw that ball up, bounced off the rim, went in the basket.
What?
All I hear is latte. And then somebody on the side, I can't remember who it was, said, you didn't call that. I said, F that. I go over to Luke. I was like, sub. Because I was thinking, and then at that point, I was thinking of George Costanza when he says, always go out on a high note or on a laugh from Seinfeld. And, like when we were younger, we never want to sub out. I didn't want to sub back in. I just watched and enjoyed the game. But that's, as you brought up, that's my ball experience at the Soul Train Awards. I got it in.
Moment.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm 1 for 1.
Yo, so let me ask you also, right? Because you mentioned something earlier about with Canada and this the way, I don't know, maybe you didn't even mention Canada, but like actually you did, because you guys were the first Canadians that were going, or some of the first Canadians, because there's obviously Maestro and Mishi and everybody before. But I feel like you guys were like the next generation of artists from the early times that started to break out into the States. What do you think about the way that people treated everybody back then to the way people treat people now as far as our Toronto scene, like the rappers?
Well, now people are conditioned to think that we're actually good and decent because of the Dream Warriors, the Maestro, whatever. They're still too young, but their parents.
Right.
Because I'll have shows and their parents bring my kids. Not my kids, their kids. And they'll be like, yeah, I know your music because my dad plays you all the time, whatever. So now they're more conditioned to respect it more.
Yeah.
Which is good because now you see a lot of more artists, they're millions of views and they're, celebrities and they're traveling the world and stuff like that. That's great. I think what should happen a bit more is that they should, I don't know how, like, I don't want some, OG just sit down and listen to me. I'm gonna tell you all the whole history. Like, I don't want that. It would probably be more just on their own, with the help and I don't know what I'm trying to find the word of, like, just like kind of pushing it a little bit, like just putting it in the sphere of like, you should really know how, like certain things, like, like Cardinal is Kool-Aid before. Did you know that? Like, you didn't know that. Like, that was his name. And he had another name before that.
Yeah.
Like just all these things. So they know their history. So then when people like Maestro go and get the Governor's Award and the walk on the Hall of Fame, the Scarborough Walk or whatever, all these things that he's getting, you're like, yeah, man, he deserves that. Yeah. Like when you see Public Enemy getting into the Hall of Fame, when you see Run DMC, when you see all these people getting in there, you like, we understand why they should be. We actually were the ones saying, why aren't they there yet? So that would be the thing that I would, but between, like, it's great that everybody has this, like they can, like, they don't think, they won't come out of the gate thinking that they suck. Right. They'll come out and be like, all right, let me hear it. And then they'll make up their opinion. Yeah. But when we were coming out, it was always like, it's good for Canadian. Even our videos. So it was always a B class. So they wouldn't even give you the benefit of the doubt that it could be just as good. And that's kind of like where Northern Touch kind of changed the platform.
Like chillin', Monday night raw watching. Me and Danny O at the Sky Dome when it's in town.
Yeah. I gotta
Kinda
write
like-
that down. It's good for Canadian. Like that was a big term back in the days.
Yeah, and it's still running now. Like people are still licensing this song for projects and TV shows and stuff like that. You know, it's unofficially the Canadian hip hop national anthem. And it still runs. And every time, like if we're all together, it's like wow. Like when we do it, because just the energy we build off each other, but then just like you're saying, the cultural history of hip hop from Canada and the impact that it had, a lot of people feel nostalgia to it. And that's where that tipping point changed. Like I was saying, you would get B rated every time because it's good for Canadian. We were coming out right when we were almost crushed by it because we were like, DMX.
Mm-hmm.
Where my dog's at. Same beat, same little mix a little different.
And a lot of people don't know that Northern Touch used the sample first.
Yep. That song was recorded maybe not a year, maybe 7 months. So it was already done by the time we didn't copy Where My Dog's At. That song was done. And then the record companies were deciding, and then decided that they were going to put it on Cash Crop, Rascal's album.
Yeah.
But that song was already done. It was just floating in bureaucracy. And then DMX comes out right when we're dropping it. And we were like, of course, because then you're going to have these people going to be like, they're copying DMX and stuff like that. And fortunately, they didn't say that. They're like, we like DMX's song, but we also really like this. And we actually relate a bit more to this because this is our Canadian culture.
Yeah.
The stuff that they're talking about, BC, I can be like, yeah, I'm from BC. I'm from Toronto. I'm from, all this stuff. So that's where I'd say where it would really help. But we had it rough, but that's why we know how to find things in the yellow pages and white pages, but also still know how to Google search. Some people only know how to Google search.
Let me touch on this Northern Touch for a second though, and the DMX aspect, because a lot of people from the outside felt that Northern Touch was just trying to remix the DMX Get At Me Dogs beat, when it was actually not the other way around. Like you guys had the beat first or used the sample first, and what you just explained, right? But with what the outside public thought, I think it kind of helped Northern Touch because they would play them back to back.
Mm.
And people were like, oh, DMX has this Get At Me Dogs, but these Canadian guys made a sicker remix to it. Did you hear anything like that? Or did you feel the effects of it, of people thinking it was a remix?
No, I never heard that people thought we were remixing it or like doing a dub plate on it or something like that. It was just a matter of like how you're saying, it's like when you listen to the song, DMX's Get At Me Dog, if you listen to the mix, and I don't know, you do a lot of audio stuff. Some people who don't really know these things may not know this. It's a tighter mix as far as compressed. It's more, like that.
Right.
Where Northern Touch is, bow-dum, 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 bow. So that's an audio thing.
Yeah.
So for music psychologists out there, just for my very little knowledge of knowing how people react to sounds and tones and stuff like that, that was harder as far as DMX's version. That was a harder sound. That was a more subway sound, subway music, where you walk on the train and you're around 50 people that you don't know and you have your headphones on. Yeah. Where Northern Touch was more Cadillac music because it was more open air, bigger and stuff. And people don't grab that. And you can tell that it mixes it for any audio people out there. They'll tell you about tones. So I didn't catch that we were trying to do a remix. It was either we did it just as good or we did it just as good. And some people thought even better.
Yeah.
But they both like both versions, but they hit different. That's an audio thing, and that's some musical mechanic psychology thing that people get paid to do.
Yeah. And can we go back to even with signing the deal back then? Because you signed with Virgin back in the days, right? Virgin EMI when that was a thing. Because
Yes.
labels.
Yeah. Now there's none of them now. I think there's only like Sony, Warner, Universal. I think that's it. Everything else is swallowed up.
So with signing, like, how did you get to the point of signing? And then what was that like when you get to signing? Because this is back in the days, right? Like, you're young.
Yeah.
This is your first contract.
Yeah. So so after we do 21 years and Father Time, that record off Knee Deep Records, and Sox at that point gets signed to Warner Brothers. And Father Time is, Father Time. And he's doing soundtracks with Arnold Schwarzenegger for the new Batman movie. And like Sox is everywhere. And then 21 years starts catching up. Oh, Sox had that song Action too. I wish he does play it on his shows. I love that. Anyways, so I remember this explicitly. One time I'm listening to 88.1 with DJ X. Like I'm like at home just listening to the radio on a Saturday. And somebody calls in and like, man, this Father Time track is bananas. This is really, really good. But someone should really take a listen to the B-side. And DJ X goes, yeah, we have been playing Father Time. Let's give this B-side a run. That's 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then all of a sudden, because Sox was already known because he had a couple singles before that. This is my very first, like, anybody even hearing who I am.
Right.
And the funny part is that I'm the record label too, and I'm the artist on the record label.
Yeah.
But everybody knew Sox. So then it goes on, and then I do What It Takes with Julie Black, and that becomes my first Juno.
Mm-hmm.
And Just a Second's out there. But then I'm putting all these other people's records out. Either like you'll see Knee Deep Entertainment on the record, or it's like a white label like California that Sox did. And we'd help with Capitol Hill stuff with Julie's Rally and Internal Affairs, Mad Fiber. Like I think I put out with Day, my manager at the time, like almost 15 independent records.
Sick.
Like with other people, like, so not 15 of my records, 15 of just, Danny O, let's jump on this one and this one and this. Solitaire's No Doubt, Cardinals Hustling, like we were just, I don't even know how we financed it, to be honest. I don't even,
especially back then.
Yeah, I don't even know how we financed it, to be honest, because I know we didn't take any loans. We just, I don't know, but I had a job, so I guess that's why I didn't have new shoes. But I don't know how we financed it, but we did. And that caught the attention to, I remember, Russ Hergert, Big C, and I'm going to forget the other guy's name, but he worked for Universal at the time. Big black guy. Like he was a big guy, so even with loose jeans, it was like you could still see the thigh muscle. Like it was just a big dude. And then in 1997, that's the year. So 1995, first single, 96, we did all these records with everybody. 97, now we're putting out everybody's record. And that's when I record Let's Ride with Cardi. So, and the way that came about was Cardi comes up to me, and we used to go when the government was open, we'd park our cars and Sox, because me, Sox, and Ro are from Scarborough, and Solitaire and Cardi and Marvel and everybody else, they're all West End. So it was East End, West End guys. So we would all park up, and then we would exchange beat cassettes and put them in and see whatever and listen to each other's beats and listen to, that's what we did. Wherever we were, whether it was at the studio, but we just happened to be outside of government for whatever reason. And so we did that. And I remember Cardi goes, I said, I like this beat. Cardi's like, again, latte. This beat's too fast for you. I said, nah, man, nah. I was like, you think you could rock this beat? I said, yep. And we used to always all of us would go to the same studio. Well, we go to other studios, but we usually go to Day's studio up at like Dundas and Jane or something like that, up there near Woolner area. And so we go, he goes to me, yeah. And, Shucks, make sure you bring Sox. Cause all of us would go to each other's studios, but because the East End man, it's easier unless I have to drive down to Oakwood and pick up Cardi or somewhere PO to pick up Marvel, Yeah. But always me and Sox. And So he's like, make sure Sox is there so we know that it's not a voice overdub, you claiming that you did it. So that's the reason why Sox is at the beginning of the track. Yes,
Swing down, sweet chariot down.
he was saying, no, I was there when he did it. So I do that. Russ Hergert told me, he's like, man, I like what you're doing. I just need to hear some stuff, whatever. So we bring him to the studio and I play him Let's Ride.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know what, and a bunch of other songs. I don't know what and whatever. And however you want to go and do what you want to go and do not release that song. I'm going to get you signed. And then I was like, that's why the record's like Flagrant. Other records came out. And then Northern Touch came out like December 97, January, if technical, 98.
Right.
So then now he comes up and he's like, I got the attention of some people. And again, like we were talking about your impressions of people and networking. So he brings me in. He brings me in. And I'm meeting with Dean Cameron, rest in peace, who was at that time the president of either Virgin or EMI, whatever. I think he was the big boss. So it would have been EMI because EMI was signed to was contracted to Virgin was contracted to EMI, and made a good impression. And then just time and time and time. This took I was on the road doing the Northern Touch tour with the Rascals. So this is like February all the way up until June. Plus, at this time, I'm still working as a daycare teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that you used to be a daycare teacher prior to all the rap shit. Yeah.
At Mother of Compassion, which is attached to Mother Teresa School in Malvern. I was a teacher. So at this point, people are walking by me and like, and we had a, teenage pregnancy situation back then. So that's why the daycare is attached to the school. So the students are coming to pick up the kids. And they're like, I saw you on Rap City. What? And everything like that. So I'm still working and whatever. And then the daycare in June, beginning of June, they come up to me and they're like, now I'm not consistent being there. And my mom works there because she got me the job 5 years ago, which was just supposed to be a summer job. And again, with the teenage pregnancy, fatherless kids, they liked that they had a male working in the daycare to kind of give boy children, to give even the girls, like just to give the kids that male influence of whatever, So, but then they said, because we can't have you coming here and not being here, they expect to see you and you're not here. Like, it's just not good on their side. Is you going to be here this week?
And you're a rapper on TV doing music videos, dog.
yeah, exactly.
Chatting about the gal them and what you do.
Yeah, exactly. But all the parents loved me, all the parents from the school and from other schools and whatever. It was all really good. They'd just be like, I just saw you on the TV. Oh, what? So it was kind of cool that they, and then I was going to clubs. So sometimes I'd see the parents at the clubs, just at, at like Fluid, so I'm like, oh, I got to act right because then they're going to be like, that's the guy taking care of my daughter.
And they're popping bottles. Parents are like, wait a minute. Hey. Don't you got to be at work tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I say that about the Raptors when I see them in the club before a game. I'm like, hey, wait, it's 2:30. Don't you have a game at 1 on Sunday?
Alcohol out your pores, bro.
Yeah, a rough game tomorrow. So I was still working there, and then they made me have to make a choice. And I told Virgin, I said, this is beginning of June, and I told Virgin, I was to Russ. I go to Russ Hergert. Yo, man, I don't know what the talks are or whatever. If this is a reality, because I was already heartbroken a couple of times because when you send in demos and you hope for something and nothing comes back.
Yeah.
So I told my work because I was running good with Northern Touch. I told them, I'm going to leave. I gave my 30-day or 60-day, whatever, how many days I had to give them thing in. And that's at the beginning of June. And then June 28th, that's when I got signed to Virgin. And they did it the night before, June 27th. Because it was Old Music Danforth Hall. They had I forget what awards. Was it the Mike Check Awards or Urban Music Canada UMAC Awards or something like that? I forgot what it was, but it was a hip hop based award at the Danforth Music Hall. So the night before, they invite me out to this expensive restaurant that like, you know, like I'm like, my expensive is the keg, you know, otherwise it's Kelsey's or Casey's or Chuck's. But they brought me to a place that I can't pronounce.
Yeah.
I'm eating quail and stuff that, you know, I really don't need. Like, just give me a curry goat and I'll be good, right? Like, you know, like, I don't need a quail and a alligator fin or something like that. Although it was fun to experience it, but I didn't like the food. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not used to it. Got my first bottle ever of Cristal. They bought Cristal for me.
Wow.
We signed the contract. They said everything is on hush. Everything is on hush right now. Don't talk about it. Don't do anything about it. We got something special planned. So I had my first bottle of Cristal. Don't like it. It's too champagne-y. I don't like that bubbly. I don't. But like, everybody's talking about it. Like, that's the drink of choice at that moment, right?
That was what was popping back then. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I'm like, I'm having Cristal for the first time. I even asked the waiter. This is before you can bring your own wine into place and cork. What do you call it? Cork it law. Mm-hmm. So you can cork it and you can bring your own wine, cork it and leave with it, or you can buy wine there, cork it and leave with it. Like, that's some type of law that they have now. So I brought the champagne bottle home. I had to wrap it in tin foil. And
so they let you bring it back then when you weren't even allowed to.
Yeah, the store, because at this point now, because everybody's there, like the finance department, the legal team, the marketing team. So this is like a $15,000 dinner.
They just rolled out the red carpet for you, bro. Holy.
Yeah. And they let me in the store. So now they're just going to please us, right? They're going to be like, yeah, let them take the bottle. It's empty. Like, there was nothing in it. He's like, it's empty. Just let them take the bottle. Just wrap it so nobody sees, type thing. So I brought it home. That's one of the awards that my mom will not let me take, but it's still there. I see it every time I go there. I still have the bottle. And the next day, then they were going to do it. I remember they gave me a Virgin Records hockey jersey, and they were giving an award for something. And I guess I was winning it, because why would I be walking out?
Yeah.
And so I forget what it was, but I do remember is that Russ Hergert stood up there and I had this Virgin Records. Well, it said Virgin on it. So like, back then I was still like, oh my gosh, like, why does it have to be straight Virgin on my shirt? Just like, people are going to get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
It was a red, like, looked like a Chicago Blackhawks red and black jersey, the red one. And he goes, we are happy to announce that we are doing all we can in support of hip hop from Canada. I hate saying Canadian hip hop, but although it is Canadian, but it's hip hop from Canada because we do hip hop. It's just, we got our flex. But to support Canadian hip hop, and we're happy to announce that we've just signed Choclair. And no lie, guy, like, I'm even welling a little bit because everybody stood up, clapped, and was like, it's about damn time. And I gave my speech. I did that. It wasn't for a lot of money, but they paid you in quarters. Like, you get a quick chunk over here. It was decent for what I was, like, working at a daycare for 5 years. Like, I don't even know if I made that much in the 5 years that I worked at the daycare.
They gave you that 5 years in the first quarter.
No, overall, like, as the overall, but they would pay you the first quarter on signing, second quarter off the long version, because then you got the letter of intent. Then you get this is for signing. I know a lot of people don't sign direct to record companies anymore, but you get your letter of intent, you get your first quarter. Then you get when you sign the long version of the contract, then you get the next quarter.
Right.
Then at some point, then when you hand in all of your material,
the deliverables,
third quarter. Yeah. And then on the release, you get your fourth quarter. So that's how some people might get it different, but that's how my deal came together. And that's how so those are the things. So like, if you're an artist signing even to an independent company, like, like a Gucci Man's label or, Cash Money record company, they might do it like that. Cause that's how it is. That was the standard. And then nowadays, they didn't do it then, but now they always throw in those 360 deals where they make money off you for touring and merchandise and stuff. Because it's not like the same where you're selling hard material. It's like the streams, they don't get as much money off streams as they used to just selling like a vinyl that cost them $4 because they're doing in bulk, maybe $3-4, and they're selling for $20.
Yeah. So even with the label, because I've watched the journey from the before to now, and there was a point in time, obviously, that you went independent.
Yes.
Hindsight, now that you're older, right? And I'm not even trying to say like to mess up any relationships with people that you might still have at those labels then. Do you feel that the labels did you well, or did you feel that you got jerked like a lot of artists did?
I want to take a quick break from this episode to give a big shout out to Only Loud, Canada's one-stop shop for your favorite legacy brands and all things loud. Only Loud provides mail order delivery nationwide and same-day delivery to those in the Ottawa area. Check them out at onlyloud.ca or follow them on their socials, Instagram at onlyloudcanada or on Snapchat onlyloud.ca for more exclusive content. Only Loud is not just a product, it's a lifestyle. Big salute to the sponsors. Cheer!
No, I never got jerked. I never got jerked by the label. Like when I first signed off Ice Cold, like Spence Diamond was at the label as the radio guy. I knew him from just Scarborough, Pickering, and mutual friends and DJing, carrying his crates, because that's how we all got into parties for free back then. I'm carrying the crates. So I knew Spence Diamond, who is now the president. I don't know if he's still the president, but the president of Universal. Why am I going to forget his name now? Oh my gosh, he was my radio guy. I went to high school with him. Like he just happened to be my publicist, Jeff Remedios. That's who it is. Jeff Remedios. I went to high school and he had a band. We did talent shows together. All of a sudden he's my guy at Virgin. And then Russ, who like pretty much spearheaded the whole idea. Keith, it was just people that, and remember, this is 97. So this is 97, 98. So this is like the struggle is real for hip hop and we believe in it and everybody is there and they're convincing their top heads why to invest this money into this artist. So, and then the only thing that changed, which is, I don't know, you tell me how I should take this.
Okay.
Everybody that worked on my record, Ice Cold, got a record deal, vice president of Universal, another record deal. Not record deal, label deal, vice president of Universal, vice prince. Russ Hergert became the vice president of urban music and moved to France. Everybody got a leg. Everybody, like everybody that worked on this project, all leveled up. And then at that point, now we're in the moment where, like we were just talking, it's like digital is starting to take over. So they bring in new people. That's where I started working with Big C and other people and everybody else there. But it was a complete, like even my A&R wasn't there anymore. The president wasn't there anymore. The vice president, the head of finance, the head of, but they all knew me. But I say it in Skyline, we worked hard, but they didn't birth it. So there's a different mentality coming in. Plus, the whole industry is changing. And I think that's why I went independent afterwards, just because, not because of anything. I see these guys all the time, every day, and not every day, but like I see them in whichever, but the industry was changing. The work and, like if you built the house from day one, like, and you build the foundation and the stairs and the steps and the crown molding and you put the faucets on, someone comes in to go and do it, they're going to work.
Yeah.
But not, I don't know. I don't want to say.
Not like you worked.
Yeah. Like that's where I don't want to mix words, because I don't want them to think that they didn't care and didn't do anything. That's not even close to what I'm saying. It's just different. Like Russ broke the bank. Like Let's Ride video was almost $200,000. There's nobody paying $200,000 for a hip hop video back then.
I never knew that was that much.
Yeah, because we had to because right there you had all the million, Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson videos, Missy Elliott videos, Puff Daddy videos, all these $1 million videos. It's like, it's gotta look like we know we could do things cheaper here. But for unknown or just barely known Canadian hip hop artists on a video, Russ got almost $200,000 and got Little X to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the birth thing. Because on there, when we were doing Skunk, you know, we had to cut corners and Light It Up, though, went really well because they brought us, all of us up. We spent 2 days up there. So the video and the vibe that you see is like, because we bust everybody up there.
The T diddle side, the ride don't matter, flat or who. It's all about we and the crew. And that.
But with Skunk, it was like, we want to work this way. The X, little X, or Mr. X. Yeah, he was like, what are they doing? I want to go and do this.
Yeah.
And we were talking to each other, and then budgets. Like, that's the difference between birth and just moving with it. Because they would have went, no, we need whatever. What does X say we need? That's what we need. He's going to work with us.
Yeah.
But we use someone else. The video's still cool, but like, you know, if X did Skunk, it would be different.
Yeah, yeah. And there was always this thing, right? And it's still a thing now. Have you ever felt that there was two different types of hip hop? For example, back in our days, there was you guys that used to get on the radio, and then there was all the grimy guys that were doing mixtapes and stuff like that. But you know, you might hear them on Project Bounce, but you're not hearing them on. They're not getting on much music, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that back then?
Well, you would, because you would be remembering songs like EPMD's The Crossover. Because you had your father MCs, you know, I didn't really listen to all of that, but like for the most part, but like, and then you had your EPMDs and your Redmans. And that's where, like, for the most part, if you were watching much music, you definitely are watching and you're seeing an MC Hammer, you're seeing a Vanilla Ice. If you're lucky, you might see a Joe Public. You gotta live and learn. You might see that, but you're not seeing Shook Ones. Right? So there was a difference. But you see Heavy D, rest in peace, Heavy D, and there was good music. Like it was just different. There is always going to be these two. Like you're going to have, like now with hip hop growing older, like in the 90s for us, it's like, you know, like it's 90s hip hop. Like it's like that was the stomping grounds of learning where and who and what we were doing, and people establishing their positions in this new art form, at least for the industry, as hip hop music. And that's why, you know, you got your Mobb Deep still going, and you got Rest in Peace Prodigy. You got all these other groups, and then people are getting Public Enemies and everything. And then you see, you know, like the Eminems coming in, which is dope because he pays homage to all the people. Like he always talks about LL. I saw when he did the thing for LL Cool J for the Hall of Fame, like it was dope. He knew it word for word. And he always talks about, like, that's the guy, Tretch, and all these other people. Like, so, you know, he's just not, I like the music, so I did it. He's like a student of the music. Right. And I think that's the difference, where then if you have like R&B was really big. So like, but great songs like One More Chance from Biggie, using kind of a softer tone. Every rapper was trying to do a soft. So they're trying to work the middle, but they still had to go hard like that. Nowadays, I just find it's like, you're either in one or the other. You know, like it's either drill, or you're an old head, or you're an R&B rapper. Women included. You know, like it's. I'm sure there's other little turnoffs that you can kind of make a niche market to, but it's really just that you're either right now. As far as I'm concerned, it's like everybody is into drill. The people that aren't into drill, they just remember the 90s hip hop and love it. And, you know, they want to hear Jodeci. They want to hear Smooth the Hustler, Broken Language, like people like me that like those songs, Mass Appeal from Gangstar. Still, like, then you have people just like, I just want to listen to good music. I might like Cardi B, this one, and I might like Happy from Pharrell. Like, I don't, you know, like, and I might like a hardcore song. I might like Shook Ones as well, or I might like this Chief Keef song. So you have those people in the middle, but it's like that, you know, like people, and that's the cross. And there's no crossover, which is kind of unfortunate, because the art form of the music is the same. It's just the way that we deliver it. Like people were weirded out when the very first time you heard Crucial Conflict. That then when they first heard that group from Ohio, and then Bone Thugs came in and was doing the same thing. Where now it's almost just general. You know, Biggie did Notorious Thugs, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Biggie can do it too."
Yeah.
You know, so that's the difference. What I see in there.
Now, did you ever feel any resentment from like the more street guys in Toronto that weren't getting as much radio play, as like you, Cardinal, and different guys like that who were getting the radio play?
I never really felt it, like people coming up to me and like, you ain't that good. Like, obviously there's going to be haters here and there. Like there's, you know, but nobody of note, you know, like to be, but I won't be naive to say that it wasn't there. Because at that point, like Gemini from Mark and Strong, she's one of the co-founders when they first started playing my record on 88.1 with DJ X. She came up with this whole thing called the Shockettes. And it was all the women that worked at 88.1 CKLN between 1 and 4 at the Power Move. So people definitely were like, why are they giving him all this? And maybe they thought that I was, you know, they thought that I had, you know, like something could happen with him. So maybe they were just, you know, like he has possibilities. So we're going to back him. So I know it was out there, but nobody ever like came and tried to be like, with the exception of like, yeah, like some guy, I come off stage performing like an hour, dripping sweat, wiping on my face and stuff, drinking water. And then they have access to the side where they can see me while they're passing. And they're like, yo, let's battle right now. It's like, yo, if I was up there, I'd kill it. You know, I'm like, well, you know what? You're not up there. And, you know, I just got a bag to headline this show.
Yeah.
And you walking by like you just finished watching it.
Should have been me, though.
It should have been me. Let's battle right now. Like, come on, man, really? Yeah. You know, like, aside from stuff like that, but like, nobody's really come in. Like, people's been really supportive. They've been like, you know, like somebody will go and say, oh, back where I staged my joint. I didn't really like light it up too much because, you know, I thought it was a little bit soft, but back where I stayed or flagrant or, you know, certain songs. But they're just like, yeah, man, you know, like, yeah, do your thing. Like you're doing your thing. Like, and as far as like the street guys, it's whatever. Like I never really got caught up in the streets really because when I was growing up in Scarborough, on Markham Road there, the one time my older brother was kind of, you know, but so I'm walking down Markham Road right by Scarborough Golf Club. There's like a bridge that goes down like this, and there's a golf club over there. And I'm going over to Cedarbrae Mall. And I'm walking there, and then two cars just roll halfway up the curb, like 2 wheels on the curb and 2 wheels on the road. 2 cars.
Crazy. So
I'm just like, I'm getting jacked. Because I'm not in the street, so I'm not like this unless they have, you know, like misidentity or something. Like they think I'm someone else. But I'm like, hey, there's nobody. You know, this is just a straight opportunist type situation that's about to go down. So I get out, and then they go. They get out. They didn't brandish anything. They just kind of get out, but they get out aggressive. And I just, you know, you just stop, right? Like, what are you going to do? There's like 4 guys out of 2 cars. And you just like, yo, like, what's happening? Like, what? And they go, yo, you Rogers brother. And I was like, so now I don't know how to answer. Right? You know, like, it's just like if I lie, they're going to be like, yeah, you're lying. I don't know what he did because, you know, people come after family. Yeah. And that's actually not his real name, but that's his name.
Yeah.
You know, like you're Rogers brother. And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay then. So he walks up to me. I don't know what's happening. Goes up to me, is like, I hear you're good. Stay off the streets. This is not the life for you. Leave it for us. And he gave me, I think it was $150 because I told him I was going to Cedarbrae Mall. It's like, just take this. let me see what. And then I see these guys nowadays, and they remind me of the story. Remember when we jumped on you, got all scared, you shit your pants and all that shit because you thought we were coming to bust your head.
Wow.
And they gave me that, and then they gave me, and they said, keep doing what you're doing, and we see what you're doing. You make us proud, like
That's
you know, like.
man.
And then so I just always focused on music, like, you know, like other things you get in trouble too. You know, you drive without a suspension license and stuff like that, you know, like just that. But I'm not on no runs or anything, like, you know, like there's no purpose for someone to come for me unless they're just hating, right? So that was the only thing. And that's why I never really worried about that stuff. But everybody's showed pretty much love. Like they've all been like, whether on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a they like my music, they've always given like, yeah, man, you know, all right, respect.
It's been love.
Yeah, and especially when they see me live, because then they didn't think, because sometimes I just go out and rock him it or thrust it, which is just like one man and a DJ. I don't have like 5 men on stage and a backup and a soul something. And it's an hour long. Like that's why I was sweating so bad, because that hour takes a lot of energy, man, a lot of carbons and whatever you need to go in and do it, and they like it. They're like, yeah. So yeah, that's
I think in hindsight, some of the gangsters that used to kind of be bitter, I would call it bitter back in the days, kind of now have learned to appreciate what you and the man them were doing, because we're seeing so much trash now that it's like, oh yeah, them niggas is actually real hip hop. Okay, you know what? I was kind of bitter back then. But now when I hear this shit, it's like, yeah, I appreciate it. When these niggas is doing shows, like you just mentioned, you're actually rapping into the mic, they appreciate it.
Yeah, and they also see the progress. That's the best thing, because they will see. I don't know but I think his name was Jehoshaphat back in the day, and now and we were rapping all the time. He was part of Figures of Speech. I was part of Paranormal Crew, so he would come. Whenever we would link up, and we'd be rapping before Dundas Square was like how it was. He'd just be like, rap. You're a man from Scarborough, rap with your khakis and tree torns on and your bent hats. These guys are all in army fatigues and stuff like that. The West End look, and we were all on the Scarborough Malvern look, and it was like LA to New York type vibes in the same city. But but now you see him. There's Mark Strong. Look at what he's doing. You see where he came. He came from just being where I was at the very beginning, and now he's the Raptors main guy. I think the Argos main guy. I think the Blue Jays main guy. He has a morning show with Gemini. She came out from 88.1. You see Cardi, Kool-Aid, if people forget what his name was, from dropping singles, and now he had a Def Jam. He had big hits with Akon. He had, even with more people. Raptors theme song, and now he's doing his thing. Now he's on Canada's Got Talent. That I think is where people. Sox is the voice of stinking. This year, anyways, for the Blue Jays with I think it was, what was their campaign? I think it wasn't Choice or Game or Do It or anyway, but it was his voice talking all of the Blue Jays stuff all this summer. Julie Black getting all these things, now she's going on her first tour, probably like in forever, like her tour. She got accolades for doing she said something about the native land on Stone, like she changed the Canada national anthem, where some people got mad, but everybody mostly respected it. Now she's on Walk of Fame. They just see the progression, and you got to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like you got to, because it could go two ways, right? Like, and I see when you talk about this stuff sometimes, and I watch these, like these crime shows on YouTube from certain people and whatever. And they're just like, yeah, man, like this guy was coming up, but he just couldn't leave it alone.
Yeah. Where he got there, everything's ended, man.
Yeah. One way or the other, whether you're in jail or whether you're not there. Right. Like, so I pride myself on those cats that are probably now older like us. But back in the day, they had the sense to go and be like, no, man, you do this. And me and my friend from back in the day were just having a conversation the other day. And he was like, you remember all the nerdy kids in high school? And I was like a semi-nerd in high school. I wasn't on the full nerd, but I was allowed to. I didn't get pushed, but I was definitely nudged. From the cool kids, like I was on 1 to 10, I was probably in the 4, 3.5 of the cool kids. I wasn't the 1 and I wasn't the -0. But he was telling me the other day, and he was like, imagine all the nerds that we knew in high school, which was our friends. That's why because we were cool with the nerd. I don't want to call them nerds, like just underpopular. Let's just say that. But you know,
the politically correct term, underpopular. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you know, like because I was part of them, and I remember Revenge of the Nerds movies.
Socially challenged.
Socially challenged, yeah. So we were friends with them. And then now when they talk and they hit me up on like Facebook or Instagram and they're like, hey man, it's good to see you. But from high school to the airways, these guys are your lawyers, your accountants, your bookers, your real estate agents and everything and all that stuff. And yeah, man, those are the people that people look for now.
Yeah.
And appreciate them now when maybe they were too cool for school. That's something my mom would say. They were too cool for school to just appreciate them for them. And I think that's where all the other guys are seeing, they'll be like he did something. At least he did something with his life. And we also know, and we saw his career grow.
Yeah.
You know, because they know like from 93 when Sox first came out and Cardi in 94 or 5, they've seen it. And now it's 2025. It's like 30 years later. And they're like, and people and men's doing their thing. And they're like we've seen them grow. Like, what am I going to do? Diss them now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
There was something that I did that got rehatched out of one of my interviews. Okay. I don't know how much I know you taken some episodes of the platform. You watch some clips here and there. But I had a recent interview with the homie Spade from Citizen Kane.
Big salute to Steamin' Hot Grabba with a variety of different Grabba flavors and dispensers. They got red rose Grabba, that red herring Grabba, and peanut butter. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Steamin' Hot Grabba, and use the code WeLoveHipHop and receive a discount on your order. Again, you can find them on Instagram, Steamin' Hot Grabba. Now let's get back to the show. Cheer.
Oh, yes.
Did you see that clip going around?
I did not see that clip. I did not see that clip.
He mentioned the show with the Gangstar show, and there was like an altercation that happened on stage.
With me?
Yes.
I would have to hear that because I don't remember that. Any altercation.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see what I could do here.
I don't remember that. I just saw him when they did that big photo shoot.
No, he said everything's love now, right? But he just like was retelling the story. He wasn't trying to start no beef, and I'm not trying to start no beef, right? I just want to get your side of the story of this, because when he told me that story, I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
Yeah, I don't remember.
It should be somewhere near the end over here. Okay, is it here?
Trying to get accomplished, but they were just doing the thing. A lot of
the rep.
Jeff is crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I went to a Gangstar record release party in Toronto. He invited me to the party, right? And that there was part of the night where they get everybody to rap. And Guru comes up to me, goes, "Listen, you gotta come rap. Because I met Guru before, right?" So I go up to stage to rap because I'm not really a freestyle guy. I'm not really that's not my thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying I'll spit a verse, right? And so Guru's rapping. He goes and Cardi, someone's rapping. I forget who's rapping. And Guru turns to me and goes, "Okay, after he's done, I'm gonna give you the mic. I'm gonna grab the mic, give it to you, and you go next, right?" So, the guy's done, and he grabs the mic and he goes to give it to me, and Cardi grabs the mic out of Guru's hand.
Watch my face.
And gives it the shot clear. And I'm a hothead, right?
Yeah.
I'm like Pac, right? So he's holding the mic like this, and I'm speaking into the mic, and I'm telling Chocolate, "I'm gonna fucking rip your fucking head off." Like,
that's crazy.
Right? In the mic, and the whole crowd is hearing this, and I'm fucking saying it, and Guru's looking at me like, "What the fuck's going on?" Right? And then I just leave stage. I catch myself, and I just leave stage. And then Chocolate starts rapping. And I don't know if he's talking to me, and I don't think he was talking to me. But I'm high, I'm drunk, and I'm in the back with my shorty. It was just me and my I just go there with me and my shorty, right? And I hear him rapping, "You can't touch me, you can't talk to me," and he's just doing a freestyle rap. But I'm like, in my head, it's going.
He's talking about me.
that motherfucker talking about me. So I split the whole crowd, and this is giving essence of how why people were scared. Like Jeff, everything okay? I split the whole crowd, and I walked up on stage, and I pushed out Claire into Premier's DJ booth, and the whole DJ booth goes flying over.
Oh goddamn!
And I'm standing there ready to fight the whole circle. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, I was nuts. I was a loose cannon.
Nobody had this. Do you remember that night, bro?
Okay, I sort of remember. So you see how that all started. Okay, so how it all started was because I'm trying to remember. I remember certain parts, not everything, but I believe the reason why it was the release party. So I'm trying to remember the club that it was. Because it wasn't the government. Because the government was like a Gangstar and Choclair show. So
Right.
it was a release party. I'm trying to remember where it was.
Because Gangstar was also on the same label as you guys.
That's right. And we just did Bear Witness with Guru. So, and Cardi produced the song.
Oh shit!
And Why Look is at the beginning of the song. So when Guru finishes doing whatever he's doing, I guess, what did he say? Cardi grabbed the mic and did whatever he was doing?
Yeah,
Or-
he said grab the mic and he gave it to you.
Oh, yeah, because he's probably thinking 1, 2.
Right.
So I can sort of don't really remember, but I sort of do. So like, I'm not disputing what happened. Like if that happened, I would see that happening because Cardi would be like, no, because Guru just came off. He just has a song with Shox. Shox is next. And so whatever, then I don't know the part about the split in the crowd and falling into the DJ booth. That part I don't remember, but like that, but I don't know, maybe it did. I don't remember it about that part, but I could very vaguely remember that and even with the vague parts of it, I could see that happening because Cardi would have just been like, Shox is next. I have this next song with, like, I produced a song with both him, and Guru just finished, and now it's Shox's turn. You can go after Shox. Like, he didn't tell me this, but that's.
And nobody knew about what the conversation that Spade and Guru had behind the scene, obviously. So it's like, we don't know who's supposed to go next.
Yeah, and exactly. I didn't know what he was talking, like, like he had a conversation with Guru. And plus, I didn't grab the mic from Spade. Yeah. Cardi grabbed it and gave it to me. So it wasn't my inciting in putting myself in there to go and be like, nah, man, it's my turn. Cardi was like, nah.
And you weren't dissing him on the stage.
No, I like, how I rap. I rap in general battle forces. Like, I don't have time to go. Yeah, I don't go and target one person or something like that. It's like generally, okay, if like we were just talking about, like if you felt, like people were feeling away because you were getting the shine, I'd be like, yeah, well, I'm getting the shine. I'll just tell you, like the new track, Mark IV, I'll be like, yeah, like Towerin, that's my shadow that you're standing in. I'm not talking about anyone specific.
I'm saying raps. Like,
it's braggadocious rap. Yeah, that's my tower that you're standing in. That's my light that you're lamping in. So, but maybe because he was in his feelings, and people do that. They go in, but then that's more of a guilty feeling, though. A little bit.
He said that in the interview. He's like, he's saying whatever he's saying, and then I started internalizing it when he probably wasn't even talking about me, and then he spazzed.
Yeah. So like if I know I'm late every day going to work, and somebody just the boss is there and he just says, yeah, we really got to tighten up on our on getting to work on time. He may not mention me, but if I'm feeling the way, it's probably because I'm at that moment. So like he said, he was drinking, he was high, so he was in emotion. So he may have thought I was speaking, but I'm just a general rap, boaster about, but I bring up stuff like the haters will be like, you can hate me all you want, but I'm going to do it. But I'm not saying it's MC Rubber Dub over there or Fishnet rapper over there. Like, I'm not talking to them.
Yeah.
It's just a general but it does take in real life. It does take in real life, but not about anybody specific. But I'm cool that, yeah, that was back. But then that's when we were just talking about like hip hop back in the day. Like there was real competition.
Yes.
Because everybody wanted to, and there was so little outlets that would play at 88.1, possibly Rap City, but it was only for a half hour. So between that and the other American artists, they got to play Soul in the City, kind of really, unless your song was big, the only R&B extended mix. Yeah, Master T did a great job, but regular Much Music and regular radio, yeah, like, so everybody was fighting. So everybody's trying to make a stand. So yeah, that just goes back to the, just to the way it was when we were coming up. It's like, you had to put your place down. You couldn't fight. You couldn't, you just had to be you. And those are the things that stuck around from why I think I'm still around, because people know, they've seen me on the come up and they've known me since my first record in 95. I haven't changed, just got older and wiser and grayer and smarter. But like my raps, like I didn't jump into all of a sudden gun this and drug that. The only drug thing that I ever think I even brought up was when I think it was on Memoirs of Blake Savage, because I went to Amsterdam and smoked weed for the first time, and I started talking about smoking weed.
Yeah.
That's all. But I don't talk about pushing, selling this, that, because that's not me. Other people can, but that's not me, and I've never done it. So people respect my authenticity over the years, because it's either they like this song this much or they like this song this much. And I think this March 27 song, they like that much. And Let's Ride, they like that much as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm glad that you got, I just want to get, every time somebody mentions an artist on my show and I get a chance to speak to that artist, I always like to just get the other side of the story. So I'm glad you got to clear that up, man.
The funny one was, I think I saw, someone sent you a video of a guy jumping on a bar stealing liquor, and you're like, that's not Choclair. Yeah. And I was like, number one, I have a knapsack on in the video, and I'm wearing business clothes. And I remember you're like, no, Shocks didn't crash out like that. No. And I was like, yo, because all of my friends are looking at it, and we're all laughing because we're like, and then we were, I wanted to get into it, but yeah, like it was, so it was funny to see, and it was like Choclair steals liquor from a bar, and I'm fully jumping up on the bar table, grabbing the bottles of hooch and running out, and I look like a stinking like the Mormons that come to your house and knock on the door and tell you and ask you to read the Watchtower.
Crazy high water pants. That was wild.
Yeah, so that was funny. So I do see stuff like that, but that stuff is fun. That's funny too.
Let me ask you a couple more questions before we end our conversation here, man. Over the years, like being in the business and just being in this music industry, right? What do you think is one of the best decisions you ever made?
Keeping my publishing.
Do tell. Expand on that, please.
And ownership. Well, so back in, like, I guess again, I'm just going back into like the late 90s, 96 up. People like Sox, Cardi, and other people, they were making their own and myself, we're making our, we're getting our names known. And everything like that. So the way that it was kind of pushed out there was that people like Missy Elliott and Puffy at the time, Timberland, like songwriters and producers and stuff like that, right? Like people who wrote, like what's her name, Candy, that wrote Waterfalls and stuff like that. So it started getting pushed, and I don't know if it was an inside job, not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but started pushing the values of publishing contracts. Because you get all your money, right? Well, not all of it, but like if they think you're lucrative, like they'll pay you what they think you're worth. Like, so, well, that was a part of some of the stuff with Puffy back in the day with the Locks and all these other people
Yes.
and everything like that. It was like
And
he would give-
TLC.
yeah, they would get with what's her name that was married to Babyface.
Pebbles.
Yeah, they would Pebbles. They would give you like $500,000, and you like like you've never seen $500,000 in your bank, and you're actually able to withdraw it. Like
Yeah.
you go for it, but then you don't. They collect depending on your deal, but for for deals that I'm familiar with, they'll take 25% of whatever you make off publishing, right? But like right there around that time, I don't want to get specific with names because I think I'm attacking them. But other companies were sending, we'll give you a publishing deal, give you a publishing deal, give you but that was kind of cool for them because they were seeing future in you.
Right.
Like you have potential. Like that's why we're going to X out this amount of dollars because we believe we're going to make it back. And then we're going to just gain off it as we keep moving forward. So at the time, I kind of wanted one because, you broke, you got no money, like, and everybody is in that era too. Like even now, it's even the same now, but in that era too, it's like the ugly Versace sweaters and the champagne planes, the Dubai videos, like you get caught up in it.
Yeah.
But the one of the good things that happened was, I don't know if they didn't accept me or if I just didn't pursue it. Because other people around me are getting these deals.
The pub deals. And just to clarify, that's when we'll give you a shitload of money, but then we're taking most of your publishing now, not just 25%. We're taking like almost 100.
Depending on your deal, yeah. But some people like it's structured different. It's not a one size fit all. It's kind of just
it's more on the record company's favor than the artist's favor with the upfront money that we've given you. Now we can use this in perpetuity sometimes, and we get a big percentage rather than if it was just structured in a regular record deal. Then there's more wiggle room for you to get more of your publishing.
Yeah, and then that's where it kind of switched to a 360 deal. I don't know if they're still doing it, but that's where it kind of now.
That's just norm now. That's just the standard now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're going to give you X amount of money, and then they're going to take from everything you earn. Not everything, but it's definitely going to be significant. And that's the thing that ends up happening. But then they also have a say. So let's say, like, if I wanted to do, I'm trying to think, Made to Move Mountains. Okay.
Right.
So Made to Move Mountains. So I said publishing, but ownership is also, because Made to Move Mountains I own. Publishing, I own my percentage of the publishing. So if the producer of that song had a publishing deal that was at the very bare minimum would be 25% off of their 50. I'm dividing the song up into 100, vocal side 50, producer side 50.
Right.
So if they had 25% of the producer, and there's only one producer, let's just say, then I'll skip my 50% because I wrote all my vocals. They would get 25%, and the publishing company will take the other 25. But then if the producer produced with someone else, then that 25% could jump down to 20 to 15, depending on what the other producer is negotiated with. But the catch on everything is that the publishing company, most times they won't say no, but they can say no. And they can screw up your deal. Because it's happened with me, like I don't think he's with them anymore, but like with Let's Ride sometimes, there was like a Canadian Tire that wanted to do a summer bike deal.
Right.
And they wanted to use Let's Ride. And I think Warner Chappell at the time, because I don't think he's not with Warner Chappell at the time. I don't know what his percentage and breakdowns are, but they said, I'm not sure, or something like that. And they killed the whole thing.
Damn.
And with a song like Made to Move Mountains and all of these other songs, I don't ask anybody for anything. I just really just tell them, how much are you giving me and how long is the campaign?
Yeah.
I don't ask. So like, that's the one thing that
you have no middleman now.
Well, there's always going to be a liaison. Let's call him that.
Yes.
If I'm being so I don't even know what that word is. But
No, but you don't have to have the record company go through all that red tape anymore.
yeah, no, I don't get that. Like, see, I think there's a show that wants to go and use Northern Touch for video, or for sync licensing and stuff like that. Sony. So let's leave the publishing companies out of it. Sony, because they own the masters. Like Let's Ride, that Virgin owns. Well, I don't know whoever bought over Virgin. Like I think it's Universal, but I don't know. It could be Sony. Whoever it is.
It's Universal now. Yeah.
Yeah. But like they're going to collect the money because they don't care. There's money coming in. But they have master rights, so they can say no if they just they say they're just pissed off at you, and they're like, I'm not going to let him go. They can say no. Not with any songs other than like the Ice Cold album. No one can say no to me unless it's the composer or the producer on the other side. Which would be dumb because it's publishing. That's how you get paid. So they're not going to be, unless it's like a cigarette commercial and they're completely against having, like they don't want to associate themselves with cigarettes or liquor or anything like that. Like, but most times, like the people don't really, because a producer, they're not in face front. So they're not, they're just like, I just made the music, whatever, so most times they're not going to say no.
Yeah, more times they don't care.
They don't care. They're just like, just cut the check, right? Like, I just like Sox was always like, I just want to be in the background. Like, you don't even know what I'm doing. But then all of a sudden you read his discography and you're like, you were with that, and he just silently just moves, and stuff. So that would be the main thing that I would say is just all about ownership. You're definitely your publishing, because your publishing it's probably even longer now, 50 years after you're dead. So you could pass it off to your estate. And if you look at songs like, Christmas in Hollis from Run DMC, like, I don't know, what is that, 40, almost 50 years? Whoever is producing that track, rest in peace to Jam Master Jay.
R.I.P.
But whatever his credit is being passed on to his kids. Yes. And, Christmas season is like, you get Mariah Carey and probably an NSYNC and Christmas in Hollis and Justin. Yeah. Like that is rampant through those things. So every year they're making cake. Yeah. Every Christmas season, those are the records you see out. So that would be my my advice to people: is ownership. Own your public. Like, I understand sometimes you need it. You're in a situation. Your record company bails you out because you got in trouble, and they're going to put up your bail, but they're going to put it to you. Like when you're in a record company or of any company, you're not MC Rockin' Fresh. You're account 11566. Almost like an inmate.
Yeah, you're just a number. You're an account.
Yeah, you're a number to an account. And they just look what comes in and what goes out. And if it's not coming in as good as it's going out, then they talk to somebody that talks to somebody that talks to you.
Yeah.
And then you guys decide whatever is going to happen at that point. So that's my advice I could give.
What do you think on the flip side might be one of the worst decisions that you made along your journey?
Getting extremely mad at the guy that took $250,000 off me through a deal. Like, when you first sign to, like, you come out of high school or whatever, college, you sign to a team, then you come in on the team and you're just going to get your standard coming in on the team, rookie rate, whatever it is. I don't know. It's still a lot of money, like, like $500,000 plus endorsements, whatever.
Right.
Then you do your 3 years, 3 years pretty much, I think is what it is. 3 years. You stay healthy, get your numbers. Usually at 3 years, it's like, like that's when your contract's coming up. I think what I just saw, like Vladdy Jr. just signed a $28 million a year contract with the Blue Jays, because he's been MVP almost like 3 times or 2 times. He's won the All-Star home run contest. His numbers are up, his RBI. So this is his contract year. Like, like they always say, normally they talk about it more in NBA, but this is his contract year.
Yeah.
And so that was my contract year. And just through financial rigmaroles, he was able to scoop it. And then at that point, I was like, this is not 3 years after Ice Cold. I'm just using it as an analogy. This was my sign back to the team, be here for the next 5 years, 7 years type contract.
Right.
And somehow through something, just siphoned money away. And at that point, I was just freshly married, fresh new kid, fresh new house. And the way that I dealt with it was with rage. But then I'm not a rageful person. So
you're not, man.
Yeah. So I didn't want, like, but I felt it. Oh yeah. I felt it hard. Like when I was ever on the phone with that guy, like probably the block would hear me. Cause I was like yelling in the phone, like shit's just screwing up. Like, like new kid, new house, new family. This is going to be, and then whatever. So when I was so mad. But then because I started realizing that I was getting that mad and that people weren't seeing what they were seeing in the first place.
Yeah.
To calm myself down, I went to alcohol. Because I needed the edge off all the time. Because I was so mad. I was like, you screwed up my whole family. Like, I've never seen $250,000 in my life. I was about to buy a house, a car, newborn kid, we're what do you call it? The where the baby sleeps, crib, stuff like that. Yeah. And I was so mad and I was so determined to try and get it back, but he just backdoored me so much as far as I know someone's going to probably try and use that. Doesn't mean, but he just kind of went through so manipulatively and stole it that I just was like, and it created a long time in my life of just spiraling, just spiraling hard, very hard, which, like it didn't help. Let's just say that with everything. But like, I was just on one of those things where I was just like, man, like, how did this happen to me? Like I was set up to do great. Yeah. And then there was one day. So like I'm crashed out hard. Like, like I don't care how I look. I don't care if I'm fat. Like, when you get into that point, like when you really get into a point where you don't care, like people will just be like, like get mad and be like, I don't care. But you do care because you're caring to say you don't care. I'm saying I see me, I'm saying I don't care. Nobody knows that I don't care. I just don't. You might see it like, man, you're looking a little bushy. You're not really taking care of yourself. You're this. You kind of whatever. You're seeing that you're a little bit either smoking too much, drinking too much, or something. Little things like that. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. And then because, like I said, I was like, I was. This is what I was meant to be, and all these things were lined up for me, and now it's somebody just took it from me like that. So. One of my worst regrets is when I was looking this one day and looked at at this point now I have Kaya, AJ, CJ is just born. So he doesn't know what's going on. And then I have Cassine, who's my oldest daughter, and Cassine. And I'm looking at them and I said, bye. Walked out the bridge, went to Buffer Park, stood on the cliff, thought, I say it in a song called Soul of Redemption. I said, I wish I could quote the lyrics of it now, but like I know the parts that are in it. And I was like, wait, I have dreams of me. I have dreams. I might not get all the words, but I know what the part I want to say. I got dreams of me falling to no ball, nightmares of it. Even at the neighbor's truth. Anyways, I'll just say what I was thinking was, is it just going to be over? It'll be over on the way down, or will I? And I say, will it? Or when I crash, when I crash on the dirt, will it hurt? You fucking jerks! Like I was just like, I was sitting there just being like, I don't know, right? Like when you're at that point, like it's not easy. Like I'm not suggesting anybody do it. I'm just telling you what I went through.
Yeah.
It's like you contemplate, you know, and you start thinking. At that point, I remember sitting down right where they have like the little safety fence, don't be on this point, but they still have cliff there. And a little small thing of iceberg, the little small pony
vodka. Yeah.
I drank that whole thing probably in like 2 minutes. Thought, I don't know why that didn't help me think, but then thought and wrote the song, Made to Move Mountains.
I was born to move mountains. I was made to move mountains.
So in the regret, there was a silver lining, because then that's why I come out. I was made to, like I said, I was made to be this way. I said I was made to move mountains. I was born to be astounded. I was grown with a good heart. For those for anybody drowning, I threw him on the ark. For those who's 5, we threw him on the ark. No, I ain't Noah, and no, I ain't Jesus. Just a man that grew up, 2 brothers in the co-op, a single mother, but knowing his thank you and pleases. Don't mistake my niceness for weakness. That's thinking you can touch nitroglycerin. One touch freeze, you'll feel the shivering. Ice cold and the ground starts trembling. I was made to move mountain. Da, 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 da. That walked me around. 2 days later, I recorded it at G-Vines. And then, because by this point, everybody's kind of like, you know, like something's going on with Shocks. Like, you know, like he's not all there. And I was just, because I was the rage. I was mad. I was disappointed. I was humiliated. I was everything. And I was using alcohol to smooth it all over. And then we said, we're going to do the video in the song, because they really liked the song. They liked the energy that went into it. And then we did it. We did the video because we got, I think PHS got a grant for it or something like that. Or no, one of the people that worked with it, they're a location scout for film. So what we did is we grabbed all, what do they call them? The cutting board pieces. Like, you know, like you only have like 2 minutes left on a film. We have a 5-minute shot. So you just start a new tape, like for film anyways. And then, so you get like a 2-minute film piece and a 5-minute, depending on how much cut pieces you get, cut pieces. So it was whatever. They shot it. Then in Germany, when they were doing all these Stomp the Yards and We Can Dance and You Got Served type movies, somehow, some way, one of them said, yo, we want to use this Made to Move Mountains song. And it went on that soundtrack. And then all of a sudden, I'm at 500,000 views. And then you look at it, because it's on a different page. I'll say Shot Clear Videos. It's not on my actual channel, because I don't know why they just uploaded it to their channel, but they did. Right. And you'll see in the comments, it'll be like Stomp the World or whatever the movie was called. Brought me here, brought me here, brought me here. And then that went and brought it to like where everybody was like, they really liked the song. It's a motivational song, to where now the Raptors or Sportsnet for the Raptors use it. And then I was like, you know, for a phenomenal team, for a song that has so much purpose, this is great. But that's how my greatest regret, by having so much rage, turned into something good that is happening now. God is good, man. Yeah. It's been a travel, man. It's not all been good. No, that's a beautiful story, man. There's so much insight that you have. I have just one more question I want to ask you. Okay, actually, a couple more. Okay, I keep on saying that, but just a couple more. You talked about like different things in the business, different issues that you had to deal with, like even with the companies and stuff like that. And now we're here in 2025, and the biggest rapper to come out of Canada and the biggest rapper in the world is now in a legal battle with the record company. Do you have any thoughts on that whole thing with Drake potentially suing UMG and Spotify? Do you think it's a good move, or do you think it's a bad move, man? Okay, I think what I know about it is that they inflated Kendrick's numbers to go and just to like that's the accusation. Yes, yeah, like election interference. They inflated his numbers. I don't know that is because
Do you think it's a good move because before you even answer the question, because part of the issue is they brought down his stock, just like how you were talking about before. They brought down his stock, right? Or your stock didn't go down, but they brought down his stock, what he's saying intentionally, so that now when it's time to renegotiate, they can't renegotiate on the same terms. And through that now, if he exposes the label, people are going to start seeing some of the practices that might have been used on him being exposed. But it's just going to be a complete exposing of the labels, period. Do you think it's a good move now from that now when I bring those different points to you?
I think it's going to depend on how he does it, because for most artists that either had label deals or distribution deals, they probably all have stories. Okay, Taylor Swift and getting her masters back, and you know, the Locks with Bad Boy, and you know, just all this stuff. There's always going to be those type of stories. So, but but those are for entertainers, right? Like people like me and you that, you know, we got an inside to everything, you know, like we kind of hear stories and whatever. But for the average listener, they don't know anything. Like the average person that goes to Taylor Swift show, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They just want to see her and they just see the song. But then Taylor Swift is like, well, you guys in behind the scenes are exploiting me. And I don't want to make that happen. And then it's kind of how you play it. I don't know. I really don't have an opinion, because I just want him to just, you know what? If I was to say anything really, I'd just be like, just continue to do the music that why there's so many millions of people are there. Don't get sucked into and I'm not comparing, but don't get sucked into the Ja Rule trap. And what I mean by that was Ja Rule was doing his thing. Everybody loved, I like everybody, like even people like, you know, Always on Time and all these other sons.
He had the world on smash, yes.
Yeah, they don't smash. Everybody liked it, from the thug to the rug. Everybody liked it. Then he got into his thing with 50. And then he came and although I do like that song, Clapback, he changed. Because now he was always addressing all these situations, you know, instead of just doing what people loved from him in the first place. Like, I get it. It's hip hop. There's going to, you know, I get it. But again, like, it comes down to like how you do it. But he went from, you know, like mesmerized with Ashanti, like such a carnival and the video, like carnival video and a take on Grease, the movie, and, you know, all of this.
The blood in my eyes.
Yeah, like, you know, and his audience is just like again, like I like Clapback. I like the beat. I just kind of like the way it is. Like, it's not my favorite song, but like it's not my worst song. Like, I could hear it and be like, like I can rock my head to it.
Basically, not what we originally liked you for.
Yes, and that's where that's just, you know, like, who am I to give him advice other than just from as an observing perspective? Is like, do your songs, like, don't get and then 50 Cent came in and did exactly what Ja Rule was doing, and he still does it. Like, he took over his Have a Baby by Me, Baby Be a Million. Like, he came in and did exactly what Ja Rule was already doing. Yeah, and took over the space. And then that's when, like, you know, like, because once Ja Rule was out, he was the one doing that. 50 took it over, and then everybody started doing these type of hip hop love songs, like, you know, or back to like the early 90s where, you know, like Nas was doing slow song hip hop and One More Chance type songs hip hop. And even, I think there's somewhere on there, I wonder if they scrubbed it. There's an MOP, I think, when they signed to Bad Boy. Is it MOP or is it 8 Ball and MAG?
8 Ball and MJG. MOP signed over to Rockefeller.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So there's a video out there with 8 Ball and them when they were, I like their first one. You don't want nothing. No, you don't want no. Yeah. Like, I know that one is dope. But then they had this one where they're standing on like a Brooklyn, you know, brownstone on the thing. They're wearing all white suits, like classic 97 Bad Boy type. And the song's slow. And
I think it's called I Want a Bad Girl. I might be something like that.
Yeah, but like, you know, that's not MOP. You know what I mean? Like Annie Up is MOP.
No, you're thinking of 8Ball and MJG.
8Ball and MJG, yeah, but like 8Ball and MJG was also whatever the big one that they had just before that.
Yeah,
they had like around that time, but then they had that video, and then they completely switched, and then they started doing stuff with Juicy J and all those We So Fly and stuff like that, 3-6 Mafia and stuff like that. But there was that one time, like, and everybody was like, "No, what is this? What is this? What is this?" So I would just suggest, like, just do your thing, man. Just continue to do the music you like. Of course, it's hip hop. You have to address certain things in certain ways or whatever. But that's going to be, I think, is what's going to be the skill, is how he politics his way through it. Because if you talk about corruption in record companies or the banks or government, we all know it's there. It's how you present it. It's how you present it.
Yeah. No, that's good advice right there, man. Yo, man, Shockley, the Chiznaka.
Wow, a bill 50 on the hour clock right there.
Yeah, that's how we do, bro. Listen, I do a lot of interviews, but when I speak to legends, my interviews go longer, bro, because I love to get the stories, the insight, you know, the knowledge that you guys bring to the table. And I think it's important for our audience to get those stories, man. You know what I mean?
No, it's dope that you allow a platform for those stories to get out, because some of these things that happen, like on a good night, like with a bunch of people, you know, smoking some trees and stuff, you'll get a good story from, like I just told you about Cardi calling me out when I was shooting a 3-point at the Soul Train game. Like, but now more people will hear that story, and it's just a funny moment in like the career that I've had spanning over 20 years. Like those are things that stick out, and some people will never get a chance to hear them and appreciate when they get into those type of casual fun with people that you enjoy, love, and make music with and just work with. Those little moments, they stick out, and those are the things that you'll remember. And it's great for other people to hear it, because then they'll understand when they're in it.
Yeah, it's important, man. It's important. What do you got coming up we're in the top of the New Year's, 2025 just starting off. What's your plans, you know, for the early New Year and just moving forward, man?
Well, for right now, me and Rochester just dropped the March 27th. It's a brand new single video, and it's being used by Sportsnet for the Raptors right now, and it's getting a lot of love, and it's good. It's just good energy. It's called March 27th because that's when my next record is going to be coming out, on March 27th. And this is the lead of the year. So this is the lead into the year called the album, what the album's going to be called. And so there's going to be more songs. I got songs with Socks coming up. I got songs with Private Name, Private Number coming out just now. There's a bunch of songs and a bunch of videos, and everything that is that's going to be on that album coming out on March 27th. There's all videos for it, and they're all classics. And then you were mentioning about like, oh, if there might be some songs where you're asking if my mom had some that never were unreleased, and that is just for that.
Nice.
So like, there's going to be stuff. I was going to call it. What was I going to call it? Just Now. I was going to use some Scarborough patois hip hop slang, just now, or something like that. I was like, or What You've Missed, or something, or You Never Heard Yet. Kind of like my demo, right? Like something like that. But this one, I was just like, no. Plus, it's my 50th year. I'm turning 50 this year. 50 shows on the year.
Nice.
25-year anniversary of Ice Cold on March 27th. So, and Meister always told me everything comes in tens. And he always said, don't make music, make history. So
he does say that. He does say that
all the time.
Salute
anytime I'm with him. Yeah, all the time. He says it all the time. So, and that's what I'm trying to do with this year. And it's kicking off with March 27th with Rochester. We're going to have some more music coming out later. And just all these other opportunities like the Raptors and Blue Jays and, you know, just other things that are going on. There's a lot going on right now. So I'm very blessed. And again, like I said, it's like my one regret turned into one of my greatest silver linings that I ever had.
Yeah. Nah, man, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you, Choclair. I don't think we have to tell the people where to find you. I think the people know where to find you. If you put in Choclair anywhere in any search engine,
pop up.
You could put Choclair in ChatGPT, and it will give you all of the information that you need. And you got to come to the interview for the real info, but you'll be able to find your music. on Spotify. Instagram is Shoclair Official. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm right on that, right?
Yeah. Instagram, Shoclair Official. Facebook, Shoclair Chisnock, or Shoclair on Twitter. Shoclair on Blue Sky, Shoclair, Blue Sky, however they have it. Linked to everywhere. I'm on everything. YouTube is Shoclair, and then there's some numbers behind it, but you can see Shoclair, and you'll see my page on there. Yeah, man. So, yeah, they can find me all over the place. It's going to be a great year, and it's going to be great to see you guys again going across the country. We'll have dates coming out real soon. Yeah, it's just a wonderful time, and I have to thank everybody that's been supporting me for 25. Like, some people don't understand. It's like they ask me, when's the last time, like you went to work at McDonald's? I was like 1998 at the daycare.
Crazy.
It's been you guys that's been supporting and sustaining me for that long.
Years. Yeah.
Like, when people ask me, what do you do? I'll be like, this is my job. Like, that's one thing I'll go and I'll just throw this in real quick. It's like when people ask you, okay, yeah, can you come and do a show for me? Or can you do a verse for, like, okay, that's where networking relationships happen, right? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, like I'll just jump on this track. The one thing that some people, they gotta also realize is that, like I said, it's like a job.
Right.
It could be like a job, like anything. If I'm a construction worker and my friend asks me, can you help me build a fence? Now, if you're my friend, I might say get the parts, depending on how, like the wood and everything, depending on how extensive it is and how great of a friend I am with you. Then I'll be like, yeah, I just, every once in a while, when I'm here working on it, usually on the weekends or late nights or whatever, just, buy a 2-4 and bring it over. We'll just fix the fence together while we're doing it. Mm-hmm. But that's still a service of, like, what do you call that? Barter. Like, okay, right. You buy the wood, you bring the beers and make dinner and stuff, and I'll come and I'll fix it. For other people, it's like, all right, well, you've been referenced and something like that to whatever. Okay. They got to understand it's like it's a job.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't just go around building everybody's fences for free. And, and the same thing when you get to, like, shows, going on shows, or doing features or just licensing music. Like, yeah, man, it'll help promote. No, I'm kind of good because having this discussion with one of my friends, he said, listen, now he's talking all Scarborough, right? Because we're all that are Toronto anyways. And he's like, listen, differently still. If men them come to turf and they don't know Shoclair, tell them divert. It's like no one's gonna say that they don't know you. And if they say that and that's people telling me this. That's one of the things that got me out of everything. Because I was like, if they care so much about me, why don't I care that much about myself?
Yeah.
So, like, these are like speeches and talks, like, when I was going through my stuff, and even currently, like, even like just like 2-3 weeks ago, they're like, that's where that thing came up. They come to the turf and they don't know Shoclair, divert. Because you can't come here and say, I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, do you guys know a guy named Shoclair? You're going to say no, then you're going to look stupid.
Shoclair doesn't need promo or need to do something for the promo, for the look.
Yeah, it's like, I'm an asset. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's great just talking with you and having these, because these are like conversations. Like, you guys get to know me more and what I'm doing and what's going on and stuff like that, instead of just new single, new video, new show, is that, it's an actual conversation. I appreciate it. So thank you very much, brother.
No, thank you, man. We'll tap in soon, my brother.
All right, we'll talk. Tell the whole crew I said what's up. Next time I'll be down into the studio.
Please.
Word up, bro. Peace.
Peace, brother. Salute to Shoclair, man. Salute to the Shiznaka. Yeah, man. Big salute to Shoclair. Very, very dope conversation. Make sure to tap in. Make sure to hit that like. Make sure to subscribe or you're dissing, okay? And leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about this interview right here. And what else or who else legends do you want to see on the We Love Hip Hop podcast? We are off of this. Deuces.
We love hip hop.